Hello, Ata here. I wanted just to share the code part of my project, at least some of it. And it's just in the front end, I used React Native, and in the back end, I used .NET 8. Um, so I'm just going to share some of the thoughts that and the structure that I went with. So there's the screens and service. It's very straightforward. Um, there is there is shared, which is layout. So the main screens share the layout. This is the main screens that the can user like navigate between. And there's some legacy code. Maybe should just delete. And yeah, and there's some components that used by the main screens. And there's the authentication part, which is like reset, register, and login. Um, and also, so it's I try to squeeze the code and make it into components as possible. So should like every component should not exceed like mm, 100 line of code or so. So I try to keep it clean as possible, and use some common styles just to use it everywhere if I need to make some themes like light theme and dark theme. Currently it's just dark. Yeah, I love dark themes. So there is the services, and actually there is on top the broker. So the broker is where uh, every service use the broker. So I have one gateway for all the services to call the backend. So for example, I have the AI chat, which is a service that get the assisted response, which this service is used in one of the main screens, and you guessed it, it's the AI chat screen. So this is the main structure of the front end with React Native. On the back end, I use AWS Lambda framework. It's not a minimal API. It's not a controller or anything. It just it's a bit different. It's very close to the minimal API structure when it comes to how the web APIs are set. So here for every there is all the functions in one file, just for the sake of the simplicity. So there is get and there's the role. I instantiate all the roles inside the EWS, and I try to keep everything squeezed and like very simple as possible, not too big as and clean as possible. For example, always leave an empty space after each if statement. So it's like this is something in the internet, like as a language. So yeah, so there is many lambdas here. We can check them on AWS. I have it open on my browser, but in terms of the structure, it's domain application and infrastructure, and I know it should be in separate files, but because I'm the only one that's working on this, I just kept it simple in one project. And there is other project as well, which is responsible for rendering the HTML that I need to send to the user, yeah, using my email service. So if we go to the, for example, application, I just have the recipient domain, also have the entities, which is recipient and recipient items, and there is enums and constant. And inside the application, I just have the recipient. The app is all about the recipient. Either you create, delete, or extract using the AI. I have other AWS Lambda extract calls that AWS Lambda to extract using Python and ChatGPT, and update query. Keep it simple as possible. We have in common parser. For example, I parse the date time. It's actually to handle the time zone. It's a bit tricky, and I have a big list of the formats just to validate the AI, the extracted AI formats of the date, and also to account for the time zones in general. And in every folder, there is the it's following the SQRS architecture. So you have the handler. The handler just we pass the request, which is response with the response object, which is here, and there is the validator, which has some validation. Of course, the extraction also have maybe a small validation as well. So yeah, and I want to talk about maybe there is infrastructure. It handles security. For example, a token. I encode the email. I also hash the password, so there is no plain text safe password on my in my DynamoDB. It's all hashed. There is the email service. There's the identity, data, and repository that connects with the DynamoDB API and calls it. And this is the project that renders I talked about. And finally, this is where I go to the lambdas, or maybe let me go to the gateway. Uh, it shows it in more beautiful way in API gateway. I have one gateway now. It's in dev, but within these 2 days, I'm going to make the production environment and have it ready to be published. So I can. This is the endpoints. This is the lambdas. The user can interact with a lot of things here. It's all like the core points are has authentication. This is all built manually. I cooked the Lambda authentication manually. This is the point that is authenticated. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you for now. Like this is an overview of my project and how I go like and the code. I use like .NET patterns and everything. I try to make it clean as possible and make validations, return results that has error messages. I have like a common result interface that every response of this object can implement. So I have a unified result object returned to the front end to handle any errors. So it's very robust. It's not just like the happy path is maintained. No, it's very robust. So hopefully this was good an overview about the code. Thank you for listening to me. Yeah, thank you.